The Force has woken. Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing Star Wars: The Force Awakens, starring Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaacs, Neptuda Nagano, I apologize, Andy Serkis, Domhnall Gleeson, Anthony Daniels, Peter Mayhew, and Max von Sydow. Now, the plot of Star Wars: The Force Awakens is approximately 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and Luke Skywalker has vanished. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a map that...
The problem is that this is part of that they only have part of a map
to find Luke Skywalker.
A new group of criminals have erased from the Sith,
known as the...
the First Order.
Yeah, the First Order. And our new rebels, who are played by John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, are here to try and stop them. And while at the same time trying to find out the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker. Now that's all the plot we can give away, man.
But this is But I am gonna give this. There are some factors that have a bit upgraded since the original episodes.
Like for example, instead of the Death Star, we have this half-planet, half-depth star, which is basically, it's like a circle sort of thing. It's a planet, of course. And with this, like, basically the middle core of the planet has this Death Star ring to it, which is really nice.
And another thing is that, as in New Hope, most of the Jedi are
extinct. And what the First Order's goal is to find, locate, track, and destroy the last known Jedi, which is, of course, Luke Skywalker.
However, there are some new features in this storyline that sort of picks up where Return of the Jedi took off. For one, what we don't know is that Han and Chewie lost their ship,
and Princess Leia and Han have gone their separate ways after a certain incident had occurred, which we'll not give away. And also, other things that have happened is that Luke has nowhere to be found. He's sort of gone into seclusion, so they basically have to find him, like I said, and try and make sense of all this mayhem that has recently occurred by taking down the First Order, by once again destroying an uprising of what you could say the Return of the Sith, and and find the Force. And what they later do discover is the Force is in a strong one, soon-to-be Jedi.
However, that soon-to-be Jedi doesn't know about their background. They don't know who they are, where they came from. What puzzles me is that most of this episode is mostly about legacy.
Well, I think the reason they did that was because it's basically what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to make this, because it is an episode, because the last Star Wars movie, at least as far as this storyline is concerned, the last Star Wars movie we had seen with these characters hadn't been around since like 1983. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to like pick it up like that, but at the same time introduce it to a new audience.
And it's more comedic than the originals.
Yeah, which is really nice. Now, let's talk about the acting. What did you think of Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher returning?
Well, for one, Han, flawless as usual.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is great.
Carrie Fisher, she's more fierce, and her acting's more fierce, and she's more of a leader now.
Yeah, she's the way I see it with Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher is that they seem more reserved. Well, I mean, Carrie Fisher seems more reserved, and you know, Harrison Ford still has that Han-esque to it. Like from the moment you see him get on the ship, it's just like, and he says, "Chewie, we're home." That just brought a twinkle in my eye. Like everything in this movie brings a twinkle in my eye because it's just like.
But I will say this: some scenes are emotional. Some make you cry. Some.
Like there is this one scene where we're not gonna say what happens, but it is a heart-wrenching scene, and you're either going to be very emotional, like you're either gonna cry, or you're gonna get pissed off, and this was kind of like a half and half sort of thing for me.
And what other things into this movie makes it. This movie has also taken a new direction than the others have. For one, this new Sith Lord, or
Sith Lords, or no, wait. You're talking about the main guy, right?
And for one, the poster didn't reveal the Sith Lord,
but he's played by Andy Serkis. He's the character who Andy Serkis plays, and he's basically introduced to us in the same sort of way that Palpatine was introduced to us in Empire Strikes Back. In that we see him mostly as a hologram in the movie, and also now the one gripe that we have about this film, Johnny, you go in depth about it, and you go in depth about it. Just go straight forward. Tell us.
The apprentice, the one with the lightsaber.
Yeah, the guy with the hilt.
I'm going to be honest and frankly discreet. He's basically Anakin Skywalker times 12.
Yeah, he comes off. There are scenes where he comes off a little too whiny. But
I'm gonna be honest. Hayden Christensen was never this whiny.
I'd say that's a bit of a stretch, but you gotta remember. I think this is like, imagine episode 3 to episode 4. Like how he was in there, because by the time you get to episode 4, he's very discreet. He walks in there, he's just like, good, let's get this crap done. But if you go into even in episode 3, when he does transition from Anakin to Vader, he does have that whininess. So I guess this is like the first stages of how a Sith Lord is, or how a Sith Lord's apprentice is. Like they start to become very whiny and like that, and then towards the end they're going to become more discreet. So maybe by episode 9 he'll be discreet. But
what I'm thinking this movie, and I'm thinking there's more than one. What most of you notice in the trailers is that Finn.
That's John Boyega's character.
Finn is a stormtrooper who wants a better reason to fight.
He wants better. He wants to fight for something other than evil, or empire,
what really
dictatorship.
And what most of you noticed on the poster is that he was holding a lightsaber.
Which is true, but the thing is that that scene is in the movie. It's not like they cut it out or anything. It's just that it comes off. There is we're trying to not make this like spoiler free as possible. This is the kind of movie that's really hard to review without spoilers. But basically,
here's what we're gonna say.
It goes in another direction than what you expect.
These new stormtroopers, unlike the others.
Yeah, these are less, like, basically.
They were taken from. They aren't clones. They're just ordinary people.
But they do mention something about clone armies. Like they use them, but they're only going to use clone armies like for a last resort.
Anyway, all I have to say is that this might be a new direction for the Star Wars saga. So, I say it's time we give our reviews,
our ratings. Okay, so Star Wars: The Force Awakens is very great. It's very awesome. I mean, I've been waiting 3 years for this movie to come out. I did 2 videos like a long, long time ago talking about my feelings about how this new trilogy was going to be. And the real question is, guessing a little bit of the tidbits that we had. This is all nitpicking. It's still a really amazing film. Like, I'm a big Star Wars fan, as you can see by this jacket right here. And but like I said, there were a little couple tidbits. So I'm just gonna, but it still can't take away from the overwhelmingness I have. And I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10.
Respectable, but however, I am as well a huge Star Wars fan, but I have to be really honest with my critique. So, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Alright, well, you're entitled to your own opinion.
Anyway, this movie had some flaws, but it was perfect. I will say that.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning...
And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go see it.
It's Star Wars. You can't go wrong with Star Wars. And J.J. Abrams, we both just want to say, thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, that's it for us.
I'm Donnie.
I'm Johnny.
And this is Johnny and Donnie Reviews.
Signing off.
See you around. And may the Force be with you.